Republicans just took a giant first step towards repealing Obamacare. Journalist Jonathan Cohn reports for us here. In a mostly party-line vote that took place early on Thursday, the Senate passed a special budget resolution that instructs committees to write legislation stripping the healthcare law of its funding and spending provisions, effectively ending Obamacare's coverage expansion. Budget resolutions don't need presidential signatures since they are basically internal congressional messages to committees. But they still require approval from both chambers, which means this one still needs a yes vote from the House. That is likely, though not quite certain, to happen within the next few days. So this article is from yesterday. They are going to vote on this today. That's scary because this is the Senate saying we're done with Obamacare, and the House, which is overwhelmingly Republican, is overwhelmingly likely to say, yeah, we're done with it too. They continue, passing the resolution is a critical first step in rescinding Obamacare. Here's the important part, because it would allow Congress to consider legislation through the budget reconciliation process with its special rules that make it possible for Democrats to block action in the Senate by wielding the filibuster. Okay, so do you understand that? The way it works, a lot of people don't get this, but the way it works in the Senate is you no longer need to actually filibuster to filibuster. So you don't need to, like in the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, you go up there and you talk for as long as you can. You don't actually have to do that to filibuster. All you have to do is say, I am declaring that I am filibustering. Now, if you do that, it takes 60 votes in order to get anything passed. So you need the supermajority to get anything passed. So you could have 59 votes, and they go, no, well, we declared we are filibustering, so you need 60 in order to get it through, so we win. This is what the Republicans did the entire time the Democrats had power. Anything that came up, they go, we are declaring we are filibustering. Again, they don't have to actually do it, they don't have to actually talk, it's just we are declaring we are filibustering. And then the Democrats go, oh, well, what do? We run away with our tail between our legs, we were beaten. Hey, we only had 57 votes for this random thing, so we can't get it done. Now, there's a way around that. What is the way around that? They just described it to you. So you do what is effectively a preliminary vote that instructs the committees to do something. So it's basically, as they describe it, an internal message. It's an internal congressional message to the committees that instruct them to do something. And then apparently, once you clear the hurdle with a simple majority to do that, then you're allowed to do what's called reconciliation, which means you can have 51 votes, a simple majority, and you get what you want, and the other side cannot filibuster. Now, this is where you're probably thinking, wait. So when the Democrats do something, they didn't use budget reconciliation. They would use just a standard Senate procedure, and the Republicans would say, we are filibustering, and then everything they did would fail. So when the Democrats do it, you need 60 votes to pass. When the Republicans do it, you need 51, because the Republicans went right to budget reconciliation, where they only need 51 votes to do it. The answer to that is yes. So you know how we rant and rave all the time about how, oh my God, the Democrats are so fucking weak, and they have no backbone, and even when they're right on something, they can't get it done because they don't know how to play hardball? Here's a perfect example of it right here. Democrats do something, Republicans filibuster, okay, now you need 60 votes to pass it. Republicans are in control. The Democrats are like, okay, we're going to filibuster it if they try to repeal Obamacare. Like, that's nice, step aside. Anyway, we're going to start the process to go through budget reconciliation. Oh, look, we cleared the first hurdle. Now all we need is 51 votes in order to repeal Obamacare. Do you have any idea? I'm sure you do, because you're probably feeling it right now. The sinking feeling I got in my stomach when I was reading up on all these articles and figuring out exactly what was going on. It's like we have a permanently weak Democratic Party that can't do anything right. They're corrupt a large percentage of the time, but even when they're not corrupt and their heart's in the right place, they don't know how to get done what they need to get done. And then you got the Republican Party that are lions on the wrong side of every issue. And this is the result. So now 30 million people might lose their health care because the Republicans are going to repeal Obamacare, and they're just going to do it in the simplest, hey, budget reconciliation, 51 votes. So what would I do if I'm the Democrats? Again, I would invent a new filibuster. So remember, the idea of the filibuster used to be you have to talk the entire time. You understand? So again, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, that old movie. You got to go up there and talk until you're blue in the face and you can't anymore, and you try to get people, sway people to your side and make a big spectacle of it, and you get all the eyes in the nation on you. Well, you could do a new filibuster in reconciliation where when you have the floor and you talk, you just don't ever stop talking. Get 20 Democrats or all the Democrats, go in shifts. Do it like, I don't know, this person talks for 5 hours, that person talks for 5 hours, that person talks for 5 hours. There's enough of you where you could sleep it off and then come back in and just keep doing it. Why don't you do that when you have the floor, when it's time for the reconciliation vote where they only need 51 votes? So then you are doing a new kind of filibuster, and it gets even more attention, and you shed even more light on what the Republicans are doing. And look, you want to talk about desperate times call for desperate measures. That's a Hail Mary pass if I ever heard one. But furthermore, what I would do is I'd take the top 10 facts about how devastating what the Republicans are about to do, how bad it would be, and I would have every talker just repeat those facts over and over for hours. I'd have them go out there and say, okay, fact number 1, about 30 million people are going to lose health insurance. 30 million people. So the Republicans are okay with 30 million people losing health insurance. Got it. I'd have the fact on there are going to be deaths because part of Obamacare is the Medicaid expansion. If you get rid of Obamacare, you get rid of the Medicaid expansion. If you get rid of the Medicaid expansion, not as many people have, did I say Medicare? I meant Medicaid. Not as many people have Medicaid if you get rid of the expansion, and they die. They don't get their health care that they need, and they die. And they've done studies on this. In states that refuse the Medicaid expansion, thousands of deaths. Texas was one of them. We covered the story on the show. So you get the exact number on how many people are going to die as a result of repealing Obamacare because the Medicaid expansion is gone, and I would repeat that number until everybody in the fucking country knew what it was. Let's make up a number real quick. 40,000 people. 40,000 people are going to die because you guys are repealing Obamacare. 40,000 people. That's not me speaking. That's whatever university, whoever did the study. That's them speaking. Repeat that over and over until everybody in the country knows it. We're going to get to a story later on the fact that the top 400 households are getting a tax cut where you're just handing them $7 million while 800,000 people are losing their insurance with that money that was supposed to be used for subsidies for those people to afford it. So I bring that up over and over. I want everybody in the country to know that. Richest 400 families are getting $7 million each because the Republicans care about them and they want to screw over 800,000 people. Say it over and over and over and over and over. I'd have 10 facts, get every Democrat in there. Every speech all of them give is just repeating those 10 facts over and over. You don't need to ad-lib. You don't need to say anything. Repeat those facts over and over and over. Every news organization in the country would be forced to cover it. You're doing something unprecedented. A new version of a filibuster when you're not even supposed to be allowed to do a filibuster, but you're not yielding the floor, and you just repeat it over and over, those 10 facts, and I want everybody to know those facts. That's it. And then whatever happens, happens. But I'll tell you this, even if you lose, which you probably will, do you realize the impact you just had? Do you realize how much you just mobilized everybody on the left and everybody, probably most independents and anybody with basic human decency in the country? You just made it so that you crush them in the realm of public opinion and you're overwhelmingly likely to win the next election. And then you get in, eventually you have a supermajority and you get your way. So this is how you play politics, but they're clueless. They're clueless, and they've left the entire country in this vulnerable position where the monsters are going to come in and clean house.